Fresh Wagyu meat. I mean, I hope not. I hope you don't, you know.
This is the Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. This week, we'll be talking about the roadmap that isn't really a roadmap. Well, we finally get our Sork characters and their story to the planet of Taris. This broadcast astromech right over here is EPC 231. And playing alongside me, as always, is Seema. Hi, Seema. How is it going?
Hey, Max. Going well. I just got back from a trip, so I've been out of town for almost 2 weeks, which is really long for me. So I was just getting back into the swing of things today, and we had our ops team tonight, and we went into Gods from the Machine. We one-shot everything, including Skyva, which we killed in our normal way, which is meaning that there's nobody but the tanks left at the end. Or as you call it, the tanks only phase.
Yes.
I think we've killed her that way every time now. I think maybe we should adopt a different strat of some sort.
Yeah.
Like maybe the one that Sup uses where you just stand under her the whole time.
And don't die? No, that doesn't sound
No.
right.
No, that can't be right. But yeah, so today is my first day back. I had my phone and my iPad with me, but no computer access, so I haven't played any games other than just, mobile games for almost 2 weeks, so it feels weird, man.
Well, mobile gaming is real gaming, Anyway.
Yes, I suppose.
I have been playing lots of games like Candy Crush and what is it? I barely play any mobile games. I do play some though. There's some Polytopia. Is that another one? Yeah, Polytopia. That's highly recommended. That's a very cool game. But I've also been playing Star Wars, and I did also enjoy killing Skyva with the tank-only strat. We'll write that up. We'll create a guide. It does require you to kill yourself if you're not a tank at 10%, so that the tanks can finish the last 8 to 10% alone. And we'll explain that strategy. I also enjoyed MFN, where we did Terror from Beyond this week. We had new people that had never seen it before, so we took extra long and extra casual, but still got through the whole thing in an hour and 50 minutes as we do, with me sort of explaining the story and all the strats and all of that kind of thing, making people watch the cutscenes. That is always an awesome operation. And although we didn't talk about it, we did Ravagers the week before that, which was also quite fun. That's one of my favorite ones in the game. I like it because it's just a cool, fun theme park story that's outside the main progression of the story in SWTOR, but still a cool thing for what's going on there on the planet Arishi.
Yeah.
And with that, I think we can talk about the news that's not news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
Or is it's not news that's news? Or anyway, we have...
Not roadmap that's news? Yes.
We have a game update description in the forums that is not a roadmap. We'll spend time in the segment where we are down on Taris and playing the game, where we sort of give our opinions and our evaluation of what we feel is going on and sort of how it feels to us and what our opinions are. But for right now, we'll just sort of run through in general what the roadmap and not roadmap looked like, and any other game news that we want to go through. So to kick it off, we did have that foreign announcement of here's what's coming in the relatively near future, next 90 days, and that consists of a couple things. One in particular, in the month of March, is Game Update 5.8, which will include the concluding boss, the last boss in the Gods from the Machine operation, which will then wrap up that operation for us. It will be the boss Isaacs. This boss will be somewhat unique in that it will be overtuned and it will be hard. So don't get confused when they start saying things like it's master mode-ish or it's master mode feel. It's still the regular operation, and they clarified this in the notes. It will still be story mode and veteran mode for Gods from the Machine. They will not have a master mode for Gods from the Machine because they want to move on and develop the next set of content that they're putting together. However, to make it more fun and scarier, they are making Isaac's veteran mode very, very hard. So look forward to that. Because it's so hard and so cool, they're going to be adding a couple other things in to accommodate, to challenge you and make it worthwhile to do this. And one of the things will be a contest. That contest will run from the start of 5.8 to the start of 5.9. And if in that first month window that Isaacs is available, you kill very hard Isaacs, then you're going to get a little bit of a reward. I think you get some sort of achievement and some sort of reward. I forgot exactly what that was.
A title, I think.
A title, and I thought you got something else too. But
yeah, a title, achievement, and yeah, I think there's something else.
they also said coming in that 5.8 release, there will be a Conquest revamp, and they haven't explained that. They said more details will be coming soon. That revamp will at least include, though, a little bit of a UI update, addition of what they're calling daily objectives to get your personal conquest target, new missions of some kind, and more. They said they'll also be adding some sort of vendor for new rewards for your personal goals in Conquest. So the kinds of the feeling of reward that you get may be a little more interesting. And then they also mentioned big changes to the cartel market, on the order of other big changes they've made in the past year or two. I don't pay that much attention to the cartel market. I didn't think they made that many big changes. Anyway, sorry, that's an opinion. I got to save that to the next section.
Yes. Shut up with your opinions already.
Keep your opinions to yourself. Opinions are like something. Everybody's got something and something. I don't know. And then companions. Arkin will be romanceable. That's part of the companion update. Vector will be available as a companion that comes back for agents only. And Ashar will be a companion that comes back for inquisitors only. We'll talk a little bit more about what that means and whether we like that idea in the evaluation portion as well. So that's 5.8. Tell me about 5.9, Seema.
So in 5.9, which is looking like it's going to be coming in April, there's going to be a flashpoint on Anathema, and then some other stuff that, no opinions. Another tier of augments, as well as some crafting patterns that are going to drop in this new flashpoint. Maybe some new mats, or there are going to be some new mats, and then there's also a chance that a BOE version of the augments will drop in the flashpoint as well. That's when the Isaac's reward vendor will show up. I guess that's for if you make the veteran kill before 5.9, maybe.
No, that's for anyone who kills him at any time at that point moving forward.
Oh, okay.
So they're going to add also a reward vendor of some kind. I don't know if tokens will drop off him or something, but then you'll get to, if you continue to
maybe when you kill him, you get little dead Isaacs, and then you can give them to the vendor, and he'll give you a hat.
Excellent. A hat. Isaac's haberdashery.
Or a chest or boots or whatever. Okay. And then companion-wise, counselors are getting Felix Ereso back, which he is a romance target for female counselors, if you didn't know that. And then a Mako and a Kavi, a combo thing that's going to be like available both smugglers and bounty hunters, because apparently their story is kind of intertwined.
Yes. Yes.
Which is, I like the idea of that, which I think didn't Akavi and Mako know each other in the classic storyline too? Or
some of those
I know
companions
Mako
did. I don't know if they were two that did though. But they might have come across each other in some of like Mako's. I'm coming at it from the bounty hunter perspective. In some of her spying, hacking exploits, she might have come in contact with some of the other companions. Also, they did announce that as part of these continuing updates, they are going through a round of subscriber rewards. One is part of that is For anyone who's been out of the game at least 90 days, they have a promotion going for returning players. If you subscribe and sign up for a subscription now and you've been out for 90 days, you get an extra 30 days free for returning. So sort of an extra month of subscribing, which is sort of nice. And then to throw a bone to the existing subscribers that continue to be subscribed, if you are subscribed on February 27th, so of the time that we're broadcasting now, it's just the next couple days, if you're subscribed by the 27th and on the 27th, you will get, at the beginning of March, a special speeder and armor set that is somehow just themed. I think it's related to an earlier promotion, some sort of a NVIDIA promotion that hardly anybody got. I think it's related to that. So that's also coming soon. So not a roadmap. We don't know much more beyond 5859. What did they tell us, though, Seema?
They said beyond April, their plan is to provide a continuous stream of updates in 2018. So I think we both have opinions about what that might mean for us, and that there is going to be some kind of 6.0, but they haven't really said what.
Yes. Yep. So we'll talk more about that in a little bit too. In guild news, our guild AIE, AIE-guild.org, AIE, the Greater Guild, Alea Iacta Est, had a big event in World of Warcraft that I helped out with, because we had done this event previously in Star Wars. So this was to commemorate the real-life loss of one of our founding members, one of the leaders of our guild for many, many years, for at least a decade, Ralph. To commemorate that, we ran this event in WoW, which is something that Ralph had been wanting to do for quite some time, because he had been involved with us doing it in Star Wars. We ran that event in WoW. It was very fun and very cool. So we've talked about this on the podcast before. You can probably even look it up in previous episodes. It's called The Amazing Race. If you've ever seen the TV show, I don't even know if the TV show's on anymore. It would be people alone or in teams. They would have to race from major world location to world location, like get on a plane and fly to Japan. And then there would be roadblocks or challenges when they would get to these locations. Sometimes you'd be just within Tokyo. You'd have to go to 3 different places. And when you got there, you'd do a challenge. We set up the same thing in Star Wars, where you got a clue for where you had to go, and maybe it was difficult and you didn't know exactly where you're supposed to go, but people would sort of search it out, and maybe you'd help your friends, maybe you wouldn't. And when you got there, you'd have to do a challenge, like you'd have to PvP duel an officer, or you'd have to jump off a high cliff and see how close you could land, your corpse could land to the corpse of an officer. We called that pancakes. And you got points for how well you did on the challenge. You got points for getting first to the location. You got points for extra little fun bonus things along the way. You total up all the points at the end, and somebody gets a prize. So we did that in World of Warcraft. It was really cool. I like it. We're probably going to do it again in Star Wars sometime. It was just a cool thing I wanted to describe, that it's the kind of thing that I think AIE is really good at. So that was fun. Also in general guild news, or just community news, there's a new podcast on the block. So in the chat room, one of our guildies, who's running one of our ops teams, Marcus, or Mark USB, or Marcus B, has a new podcast called Working Class Nerds. He runs it with Nick, who's also on the podcast with him. You can catch that on iTunes. It's called on iTunes, Working Class Nerds by Marcus and Nick. And I also found it on Listen Notes feed. And you can check that out and listen to Marcus's podcast. I heard they just recorded episode 6. So good job, Marcus. I look forward to hearing that, because I heard there's a special guest. What else, Seema?
Yeah, what else? Oh, yes, MFN next week. We're going to be on the pub side, and we're going to be doing Dread Palace, so be there or be square.
Yes, be there or be square. Dread Palace on the Republic side. I'll probably spend the first hour just explaining fights, so you can look forward to that.
I mean, plus the first part of Dread Palace is kind of a big square.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, we'll talk about that next week because I like it. All right, Kemval, what is next?
Gamlin ist Franjan, Kupainanan.
That's right. We finally get to do our class story challenge to get us finally to Taris. We finished up our chapters, our transition, our interludes, all in between. We are now firmly into chapter 2, and we get to go to Taris and speak with Ilios Malice and find out what's up with this Padawan and Jedi who are wreaking havoc down on Taris, where we have some stuff that we need to get done to continue to build out our power and fight against Darth Thanaton. So we're going to do that, and while we do that, we are going to talk about more of our thoughts on 5859. So I'm going to hop in this shuttle here, Seema, and go to the Toxic Lake Garrison.
Well, wait. I thought I thought there's a reason
Oh,
why.
there was. So now. So as you're probably here, I'll pop back up there while I'm talking. So we're not going to do the whole time we're standing up there in the orbital station, so that I could explain why it was interesting to be in the orbital station. Right there at the shuttle this is the start of the story arc for Taris. I read a couple things, people asking in the forums, hey, I barely got a story on Taris. This is, the old threads. I don't know, the people probably figured it out, but this is the start of the planetary story arc. It's up here on the orbital station. It's this person standing right next to the shuttle. The story arc on Taris I like, because there's a character I really like who we're not going to see because we're mostly going to focus on the class story. But I think I had her up in a video also. Did I save a link to it? I'll find it while we're talking. But Thanavesh. So Thanavesh in Imperial SWTOR Taris. Yes, here we go.
Must strip order of his strength.
I'll just.
The public troops are in short.
So here's Thanavesh standing in the background. You do a little bit of sort of competing with Thanavesh to complete some of the objectives for her master here, and she gets really mad about it, and she does not like you for it. But she is a cool character, and one of the things I liked the best about her when we got to this point was her armor. And if you notice, the armor that I am wearing and have been wearing since I started this character is the Thanavesh armor set. Here, let me face the light, and let's go down to and that's gloomy on Taris too. So you can't. Let me climb up here, see if the lighting better up here. Can you see it better? No. Anyway. The lights are coming.
But yes,
straight
it
down.
is her armor. That's the point.
It is her armor. It's pretty cool. It's a nice armor set that I like. I forgot where I got it, so look that up on Tor Fashion or Tor Fashion. Is that the latest? Yeah, Tor Fashion. Tor-fashion.com. But yeah, so we don't get to play with Thanavesh, but I just did want to mention that. So now I'm going to the Toxic Lake Garrison. So now we are at Toxic Lake Garrison. Taris is a cool planet. No, actually, a lot of people say it's their least favorite planet. I didn't think it was my least favorite planet, but I found it was fascinating that the point at which it comes in terms of levels is very different between Republic and Imperial. It comes pretty early for Republic. It comes quite a bit later for Imperial. It comes in Chapter 1 for Republic, I'm pretty sure, and it comes later for Imperial. So it did feel a little bit different depending on how you were doing that back in the day. So first up, we've got to go speak with this person who's right in here. So let's go talk to him, and then we can talk about a roadmap that's not a roadmap, and what a roadmap actually is, and whether that made us angry or not. Are you in touch with your feelings, Seema? To know if you're angry
so
or
angry.
not. All right, I'm zoning in here. You are not ahead of me this round, so you don't know what's gonna happen.
No, I'm not.
Although you're still a level higher than me. You are so high.
Ilios Malice, you were sent here to investigate a ghost. What did you discover?
I am a busy man. I don't have time for... Oh, my lord, Forgive me. I didn't recognize you in your new wardrobe.
Okay, this guy
so
is...
grand. This is a pleasant surprise. I had heard the most unfortunate rumors.
He thinks we
He thought we're dead?
No, yeah, he thinks... What did he say exactly? So he said, I didn't recognize you in your new wardrobe, so grand. So he may be in on the Zash issue, and he thinks that we're Zash. Just tell me about the ghost. So we could play it like we are Zash.
Give me the information I've come for. Now.
Now.
Yes, the ghost, of course. Let me see.
Okay, Veruca
I
Salt.
assure you I've been working tirelessly, but it's just the Jedi have been guarding the old Jedi Enclave very tightly. That's where the ghost first appeared, you see.
Get to the
Don't let
point.
it get stuck in your throat. Speak.
The ghost appears only sporadically. Not even the Jedi who guard the Enclave can make it appear. They've resorted to using a young Padawan to try and draw the ghost out through blood ties or something. Foolishness, if you ask me, but I'm a man of meager understanding.
Why do the Jedi care if the ghost appears?
My understanding is the ghost doesn't need to appear to be felt, and the Jedi don't like the dark side lingering in their enclave. It seems if the Padawan can make the ghost appear, they can cleanse it, or whatever it is Jedi do with ghosts.
Interesting. Sounds useful.
I need this Padawan too in that case.
If you wish to make the ghost appear, then I'd say it's worth a try. If you could manipulate
Padawan.
this Padawan, her name's Ashara Zavros.
Really?
And to assist in you, you could gain both the ghost and a new apprentice. I can't
Interesting.
imagine an impressionable young Padawan being able to resist your particular charms, and it would save you the trouble of fighting a small army of Jedi.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. So I've done this before. I've done an Inquisitor multiple times, but if I must,
I've done stranger things to get what I want.
but I always did light
I
side.
assume you'll want to entice her, draw her away from her Jedi protectors. You might visit the Jedi training grounds by the waterfall.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I will...
Okay. So, yeah, that is interesting. So Ashara Zavros, to get Ashara as a companion, her story then, when you talk to her throughout the rest of, if you're going full light side, you can sort of keep her light side, and she's not really a full Sith. She's still sort of a Padawan for forever. And you and her just sort of teamed up and, sort of fighting the corruption of the Empire from the inside and the evil ways of the Sith while still being part of the Empire. Now, dark side, I have no idea what this is going to feel like. Am I going to feel really bad for corrupting Ajara?
Well, let's see.
Let's see. Shall we? All right.
I think no. I think you're going to enjoy corrupting her.
Well, M accented A XX, the dark side Inquisitor, will certainly enjoy it.
Yes.
What else is there? Oh, is that you? You got to do it? Oh yeah. Sorry, not gonna let you do it. So we gotta go through here, wind our way through the swamp a little bit. One of the things you'll find on Taris is this is one of those planets where from point A to point B as the crow flies is not how you'll be traveling. You will be having to wind your way around.
So I think that's one of the biggest issues for people that don't like Taris, because I know when my first character that I did Taris on, I didn't like Taris either, and I also didn't like Balmora for the same reason. And then I kind of just made my peace with the fact that if you just follow the roads, you'll get there, and don't try to go directly in aligned places.
Yeah.
And then I could sort of just relax and notice all the other things about Taris, and now I really like Taris.
Yeah. Yeah, Taris has a long backstory, and maybe we'll talk about the backstory a little bit more. We've got enough to talk about tonight, but it's got a lot of lore backstory around what happened to Taris. It was more of an ecumenopolis at one point and was destroyed by a Sith Lord in a pretty heinous way as part of a campaign. Anyway, roadmap that wasn't a roadmap. Were you looking for more or less? Did you think this was fine, Seema? What are your thoughts before I start my rant? I mean, no, I mean it's fine. But anyway, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions after reading it, or a couple of big questions maybe. I mean, I don't know if this is too soon in our discussion to bring it up, but it seems like when they said their post-April plans that we intend to kind of create a stream of updates and info about the updates. It seems like maybe they're just going to continue doing like they did in 2017, where they introduced things
month by month
instead of
chunk.
instead of packaging it all together in an X pack and saying. So like one of the things that I noted is when they said there's going to be another tier of augments and there's going to be new materials. So maybe maybe they do that along the way, when that might be something you would save back for a major X pack, a change in the crafting materials.
Yeah. So here, let me click this thing, and then I will agree with you.
Click it and then agree.
I have to click some Datacron. Oh, there's Ashara and a Cathar Jedi. Oh, that's right. There's a lot of. This is the introduction to the Cathar on this planet too. You get to.
I can't.
Kill a lot of Cathar.
I can't do it. You know what? You want to move a rock? Get a quarry droid.
Calm down, Ashara. There is no emotion. There is peace. Try it again.
I tried already. I can't do it.
Oh, she's so corruptible.
Trust in the Force, and even the oldest and sturdiest of walls may be pulled down.
Forget this. If there really are Sith on Taris, we should be fighting them, not sitting here daydreaming.
Bring it.
Patience, Ashara.
Bring it.
Empty oneself of emotion and find the peace with which to act in the Force. Now, try again.
Okay, so we're finding these data banks to track down this Jedi and Ashara while we go. So yeah, your point was we're getting the feel as they're explaining this that yes, even this little bit of a roadmap was a little more piecemeal. This is what's coming in 5.8. This is what's coming in 5.9, and we did this sort of a little bit more. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. A little more piecemeal in 2017, and we get the feeling from the way they're talking about this that is seeming like how their plan is for 2018. I actually don't mind that completely. Let me say it this way. I like that. I like continuous updates. I like new things every month. I like that kind of concept. I also like, though, at least once in a while, a big expansion, or at least.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta couch how I say big, but like a bigger new story, 5 to 10 levels, new gear tiers,
new planet
or planets, maybe
new systems of some sort.
Yeah, new systems, new crafting, all of that. I will really miss that if we sort of like never get that again. I do think your point about the augments is interesting and potentially part of that, in that, yeah, maybe they're not going to have new gear tiers anytime soon. And here's another tier of augments, and another one is a way for them to get some gear progression in a tiny way without having to have a whole, new tiers of gear. I don't know. I think that's okay for a little while, but not forever. All right, let me click our next data bank here.
The Jedi Code states, there is no passion, there is serenity. Can anyone explain what this means? Ashara.
It means the Jedi must be prepared to think calmly, even in intense situations. Passion is a tool of the dark side. There is no emotion. There is peace. It also means Jedi should temper their intuition with wisdom. There is no ignorance. There is knowledge.
Very good, Ashara. So you see, This line of the code ties earlier elements of the code together.
Okay, blah, blah, blah. Comment from the chat room that the advent of the new augmenteers is a hint that there's more group ops and flashpoints. I think they're pretty clear that they intend to do more group content this year. I think, though, that this specific tier is specifically designed to help people get through veteran plus Isaacs. So I don't think it's indicative that this is prepping you for the new content coming later necessarily, because they did make reference to, for those people that are trying to get through Isaacs. I think it's even in one of the dev notes. They say that's what this is targeted for. Let's see.
Well, it's also going to help ops teams that play at a lower level to get farther as well, and to maybe do some veteran fights when normally they would only do story mode.
We've added additional powerful new augments for those who need additional stats to help take down Isaacs in. See, here's where they said master mode, which it's not master mode. Don't get confused. They should have just said, like veteran plus or take down super hard Isaacs or something. Because there is no master mode. You're going to set the operation to veteran mode. There won't be a master mode. You'll go in and Isaacs will just be very hard. There will be no, there'll be story mode and this very hard mode of Isaacs. That's all all there will be. All right, where do we got to go next? All right, go back up this way. We go this way. So what about 5.8? So 5.8 we get the finish. We finally get the finish of Gods from the Machine. So we get Isaacs. I think I'm glad we're finally getting the finish. It took much longer to get the full operation completed than I had originally expected.
Yes.
They certainly did not exceed my initial expectations, or anything of what I would have expected it to take to get the operation done. But it's also not, it's not 2019, so I guess we got that going for us.
It is happening. It's not like it's not happening. So there's that. Right.
So there's that. So we'll finally get that done, and that opens the door to them, whoever's working on that kind of stuff, the dev team, to be able to move on and work on some new group content. So that is good. Also, what else is in 5.8? So this idea of the really hard mode of Isaacs, the downside to that, I'm going the wrong way again. This is a little confusing. The downside to that is,
Taris?
Yeah, see, this is evidence. So this sort of goes without saying, as being part of it, is that they're not doing master mode Gods from the Machine, which I think that will be disappointing to people and sort of goes against what their original plans were. I get that it provides them an opportunity to move more quickly and get on to new content, which that's good, but I don't know. You're not telling us what that new content will be. This isn't a roadmap which explains what new content is coming in the future. You're telling us you're going to finish what you told us you would do, 9 months a year ago, and not what comes next. And you're also taking something away. That stings a tiny bit. All right, let me click my next data bank here. Watch Ashara be sassy to her master. Grumpy cat, the Jedi Master.
Ashara, relent. That's an order.
No, tear him up, girl.
But I was winning.
You must learn restraint. Varric is clearly not your equal.
She's the best duelist in her class.
There was no reason to press the attack.
We're training for war. The Sith won't surrender. We have to drive them back with everything we've got.
These are not Sith. They are fellow Padawans.
You show great potential, Ashara, but you must temper your fervor for the light with patience.
Oh, we are going to unleash that fervor, aren't we?
Yes, I don't think it is fervor for the light. It's just fervor.
Yeah, you are constraining you're limiting your own power by holding back constantly, you silly Jedi.
She has a passion for talking back.
She does. Okay, so why do I have to go in here? Now I have to go in here. Let's kill some Republic colony sentries. So anything else? Let me look. What else was in the 5.8? Oh, the companion thing. Let's talk about that for a second. So I'm glad we're getting companions back. I think because they're coming back only to the class that they came from in most cases, except for that little double one with Mako and Akabi. I expect that's going to make it easier for them to write the stories for them to come back and write the dialogue, and maybe make it easier to get through a bunch of the companions and get them back. However, I think that's also problematic in a little bit of ways where people were hoping or expecting or thinking that they would get Mako on all their characters. And now you're not going to get that. So maybe there's some way we can encourage them to take all the companions and put them on that little console so that you could get Mako on your Inquisitor. But as it stands right now, you will not get that. You will get, you'll get Vector for agents only, Ashara for Inquisitors only. We're meeting Ashara right now. And you will get both Mako and Akavi for both smugglers and bounty hunters, or have the option to get them at least. Okay, again, we need to finally get through getting all those companions back. It's been forever. So we'll see how it feels once we start getting them back, I guess. What do you think, Seema?
I mean, I'm not sure that I really care about getting Ashara on all my characters or Vector on all my characters.
Yeah, I guess I barely care as well, but I think some people did. Yeah.
I mean, the expectation was set up, but because starting with Kaizen Fest, and T7, you get them. I mean, T7, okay, I like having T7 on all my characters. So there is that, and some people might feel the same about Vector or about Mako, etc., etc. They probably do.
Yeah. So if you were hoping for something because you had that expectation set, then maybe it's going to be a little bit of a bummer. It's not for me. I didn't have anybody planned that I was like, oh, I can't wait until I can get Mako on my Juggernaut. I'm fine with it, but I could see how that could be disappointing and sort of mess up somebody's headcanon RP plans. So.
Yeah. And I mean, part of it is too, we already have so many companion options.
We have plenty.
And maybe I'll feel differently after we get the companion compendium. But right now I feel like there's so many companions that I'll never ever use because they won't be influence 50.
Right. This little astromech pet is standing on the databank. Get off.
Yes, he is.
Get off. All right, let me hear what... I'm getting tired of these databanks. Another databank. Ashara being sassy.
Another one.
Eli and Cassius will be in the assault group. The rest of you will be support. Any questions? Then take your positions.
Go ahead, you can tear him up.
Master Ryan, I think you put me in the wrong group.
You are in the support group, Ashara. You will provide backup to the assault team.
But they're a bunch of scrubs.
I should be on the assault team. Varric can barely hold a lightsaber.
These
Learning
guys
to
suck.
support your fellow Jedi is an important skill. Varric lacks your confidence, and so requires your compassion and encouragement.
But Master Ryan...
Enough, Ashara.
She voted to
have
kick
received your
Varric.
instructions. Join the others if you wish to.
She's a little spitfire, isn't she? All right, my holo communicator's buzzing. Let me see who's calling. Is that Weasley guy from the bunker? Probably.
I found the databanks. Our Padawan has a bit of a pride problem. She is a less than perfect Jedi candidate.
Most excellent.
Interesting.
In my experience, pride and insecurity go hand in hand. My lord, you went searching for crumbs and discovered a feast.
I still
So
don't
what
know
next?
how I'm going to get her to take me to the ghost.
My lord, if you wish my unworthy opinion, I would suggest
Preying on the
preying
girl's
on the girl's
insecurity.
insecurities.
That sounds
Make her believe
dark.
you're her only hope in this harsh, cruel galaxy.
Crush her.
Of course, you'll still need a way to flush her out of hiding and make the threat seem credible.
Yeah, I don't have all day. Tell
Is
me
there
what
a
I need to do
point
here.
in all of this?
Rumor has it Lord Anathemos of the Assassin's Pyramid is here in search of a particular holocron.
Yeah?
If you can acquire that holocron, Lord Anathemos might be convinced to lay a trap for your Padawan, and when the trap is sprung...
Great. Then
When
I
the
play
trap
the hero.
is sprung, I arrive and save her. Very clever.
I try only to please, my lord. First, you must recover the
Do I get to
holocron
force
and
choke
make your
this
deal
guy?
with Lord
Shot
Anathemos.
lightning? A little
The
shock?
abandoned outpost is in a near...
Okay, great. So now we get to go set up a trap. And we're gonna trap us a Padawan. Sweet. How about romancing Arkan, Seema? Are you all hot for Arkan? Because
No.
I am not.
No. No, but I know people have been asking. I'm not sure why, unless
Is that
it's
like-
the,
Yeah, is that like a big
you
deal?
know, I want to save him from himself kind of romance. I don't know.
Yeah, that seemed weird. I mean, that would be like a big, like there would be a big call for romance options.
Also,
for
it's
Arkan.
going to be an alert.
Really, the romance option's going to be an alert?
Yeah, yeah, and because well, yeah, because they're not going to make you go back and play the story again to get, you know.
Do you swipe left if you want to decline the alert?
Oh my gosh, Max. Oh, I like that.
Crack me up. Okay. What about 5-9? So 5-8 is Gods from the Sheen gets finished up and we get a couple companion things. Not all that much actually, but they are doing the contest around Isaacs too. So
Wait. I mean, 5 point. Oh wait, when is the conquest changes?
yes, that is 5-8. You're right. Okay, so let's
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yes, let's.
That does sound interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of things about that sound interesting.
I think we definitely
We were
need to know
talking about-
more, but yeah.
Yes.
So the key with conquest changes is conquest right now is a little bit boring. And if you are not in a big guild or you don't PvP, there's not a lot of repeatable objectives. If it's not a crafting week, there's not a lot of repeatable objectives. If you're not in a big guild, then you're not really in competition. You can still go after your personal target on some characters. So they at least threw a couple things in there that made it sound interesting. The idea of new missions and daily objectives, more opportunities to get your personal target is what that sounds like to me. And then
If that's what it is.
If that's what it is.
I like that. Like even during crafting weeks, you know, you have your characters that are not necessarily set up to do crafting. It'd be nice if they could do some other little activity, or if you personally don't want to do PvP or operations on those weeks, then I like it if it's another option. Let's put it that way.
Right. And then speaking
If it means that you can't get your personal conquest unless you do them, as you know, several times in that week, then I don't know what I think about that.
True. Also, I would not like that. That I don't want to have to do dailies to get my personal target. If I'm already doing a bunch of content, because that was sort of the point of conquest, is play the game and you'll also be making a conquest target. But having that as an option, I think that's cool. And then the other kind of options that they seemed to throw in, which I found interesting, was the idea that they're going to have a vendor for new rewards. So right now, if I hit L and go to the Conquest tab, if I meet my personal target, it's the same rewards every single week, and the rewards have become less and less interesting over time as you either got all of the gathering decorations out of the lockbox, or this superior resource matrix became useless, and so all you're getting for your personal target is some experience points, some credits, and a little bit of Jawa junk. So the fact that there'll be a vendor for you to be able to potentially get additional conquest rewards for bothering to go about getting your personal target, I like that. If it's interesting things that make me want to do it, tricking me into playing the game, then I'll play your game, you rogues.
Especially if it's something beyond decos that's useful in a evergreen kind of a way. Like decos, once you buy them all, maybe then the vendor still interesting. But if you can buy, boosts or that sort of thing that you buy a lot of or continue to still want, then yeah.
We need to go to the border assault post speeder, Seema.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So a little bit of revamp to Conquest. We'll see how much of a revamp it is, and we'll hear about it in some posts hopefully relatively soon, because in theory that's going to be coming in less than a month, or in a month. So yeah, let's hear about that. But yeah, that sounded good too. And then the only other thing that was on the list for 5.8 was big changes to the cartel market. Not interesting to me, but feel free. I didn't think the changes that they've made to the cartel market and to cartel boxes and stuff were very interesting this past year. But I know they might have been more interesting for some other people, for one, and for two, they might have seemed bigger in some ways if you're sort of doing a lot of that. I guess the cartel pack opening experience, that was a bigger change now that I think about it. So there was that. So we'll see. As far as that goes, we have a little ways to go north here.
So Zen in the chat room says, how about consumable emotes? That's an interesting idea.
There used to be a kind of idea of consumable emotes, which was the Jawagrams. So there were consumable Jawagrams that was equivalent to a little bit of a consumable emote. That's interesting, though. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. Maybe dyes, because they're consumable. So dyes that you can only get.
Yeah.
Interesting, cool dyes. It's not really like a repeatable consumable, because maybe you're only going to dye something once, but yeah, stuff like that. Where do we need to go down here? That's a good idea. Maybe a vehicle that you have to fuel up and you have to keep buying fuel.
Well, I mean,
we are fighting trash rat ghouls. I forgot Taris is the first place you meet rat ghouls as well.
That's true.
One of the things I liked, I sort of made the connection early, is that rat ghouls are sort of the zombies of Star Wars. And I felt every MMO has to have some version of zombies and undead, and sort of rat ghouls are
yeah, I still remember when you first said that to me, because I'm like, no, they aren't zombies. They just get a virus and it transforms them to
they're the zombies of SWTOR. And I had another corollary. It was zombies, and it was something else that every MMO has a version of. You could think of like vampires, but there was something else. I'll think of it anyway.
Zen is like, read the codex.
Read the codex. So let's talk about 5.9. 5.9, we will get a new flashpoint, and 5.9 will be the end of the storyline for the trader. So good. We got something for the story crowd. We do get a specific flashpoint. That flashpoint will be Nathema, which I think is a cool theme and cool art.
Interesting,
it was really part of the really dramatic Blur trailer that we got for Knights of the Eternal Throne. A lot of that was set on Anathema. So that is cool.
And I like knowing that there is going to be a conclusion.
Yeah, I guess that's good to know as well. Correct. I think this whole idea of this is where the augment schematics drop, and this is where bind on equip versions of the new augment tiers drop. I don't know exactly what I think about that. So they did sort of allude to that the schematics at least will be bind on legacy. They'll be bind on pickup legacy. So that is fine. So if I get, you know, if I run it on my mercenary, but I get it for my artificer, I could, at least it's bind on legacy. I can switch it over. But I want to know the drop rate, and I don't want to have to run it 50 times to get the 6 or 8 or 10 schematics for, or however they're going to organize the crafting for this new tier of augments this time. I'll be fine with running it 10 times, but no more than 10. Not have to run it more than 10. If I have to run it 10 and then I get them all, then fine. All right, I gotta click on this holocron. Oh, so this is the holocron that we had to grab to convince some other Darth to set a trap. I'm gonna click on it, see what it says. Okay, I just pick it up and then I get another phone call. Hello?
I found the holocron.
Excellent, my lord. Lord Anathemos can be found at the Empire's current outpost in that region. I suggest you speak with him right away. And I'm pleased to say that I found the perfect place for you to lure your Padawan to. And
all right. Fine.
I am most grateful.
Have Lord Anathemos' assassins drive the girl to this spot. Once the trap is sprung, you can...
Okay, so we're going to turn this in, and they're going to help lay out a trap so that we can pretend to save Ashara and make her susceptible to our corrupting ways.
How are we going to lure her, though?
So
like
we're going to use... we're going to demonstrate value.
With bits of cheese.
We're going to employ the Dennis system for people get that reference. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Okay, so another tier of augments. New materials for those augments. That's also potentially problematic. If not only do I need to be grinding out these schematics, but we're going to have some other super long grind to get like another strategic resource matrix or whatever the new material is going to be. That's going to be a little bit of a headache. However, I did make lots and lots of credits off of the last tier of crafting of augments, and if I get to do that again, all right, I'll put up with it if I have to.
I guess it depends on where those mats come from. If they come from farmable things versus like ops and conquest, then
yeah,
that'll be something.
If they come from something that you can farm personally versus something that's a little bit more difficult to find, or chat room is saying that yes, this might sting a little bit for people that are still gearing out the last tier of augments. You know, I personally made literally scores of the new tier of augments, and I have not slotted any of the augments into any of my characters, including my 248 geared mercenary main and my 240 whatever.
Well, you win then, because now you just skip that tier of augments and get the newer ones.
Right. I didn't need it for the content we were doing, for one, and for two, I was making so much profit, I just sold them and sold them and sold them.
Right. I mean, how can you equip something when it's... Yeah, I agree.
And then also, I thought it was interesting, the idea of the Isaac's reward vendor. So if you're going to be doing Isaac's quite a bit, you can get some extra rewards for doing it over and over. if we're not going to have another new operation, at least for a little while, we're potentially going to be doing Gods from the Machine for a while still. And what did they exactly say about this reward vendor? We are providing a new vendor just outside the Gods from the Machine operation, offering special items to those players who have earned an achievement for killing Isaacs the Destroyer. So I hope that's not just the achievement. You're right, Seema. I hope that's not just the achievement you get from 5.8 to 5.9. I hope it's also if you kill it in... Well, that would be terrible if it was only only the people that do it in the super, because it's going to be 1% of the population that kills them on super hard mode without the new augments in the game yet in that month window from 5.8 to 5.9. Hardly anybody's going to do that, and those that do, awesome. They deserve every reward that they're going to get. However, I think everyone can build up hopefully to killing Isaacs. You'll get these new augments. We'll all, learn the dance. We'll get the guides from the hardcore people. Then, if anyone then kills them, is what it sounds like to me, then you will be able to get the new
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. That it's going to be anyone can get to the vendor. Yeah. And that if you kill it in the 1 month window, you get the achievement and the title and something else that we can't remember, but the vendor will be for everyone who kills them, even in story mode. That's probably
I think so.
How it might work, yeah.
And then finally they said with this 5.9, you will get consulars only will get Felix Ireso back, and smugglers and bounty hunters will get the option to see a combo comeback story for Mako and Akavi, and you will be able to get either or both of them on both the smuggler and bounty hunter related classes.
I mean, I like the idea that they're combining, two companions in one story. I always liked it in the classic storylines when two companions from two different classes would meet for whatever reason.
Yeah, right. I did as well. So that's that. I think maybe we'll just sort of sum up here and be done for today. We can do more of Taris next week and set our trap for Ashara. But just to sum up again on this 5.8, 5.9, is it a roadmap? Is it not a roadmap? Here's what we're getting. I'm satisfied with what we're getting in 5.8, 5.9. And if they deliver in March and April 5.8, 5.9 and what they've laid out, that's cool. I mean, this is good. This is a good pace. This is good things, 2 months in a row. Hopefully they do get it done in March and do get the next one done in April, and we get 5.8, 5.9. Is this a roadmap? In my view, and I know we sort of tossed this back and forth, Seema, and you were asking, what do you mean by what do I mean? What do you mean by is it a roadmap or is it not a roadmap, and why does that matter? In my view, this is not a roadmap, and they said it's not a roadmap. What a roadmap is to me is you get what we're doing now. We knew we were going to get the rest of Gods from the Machine, and we knew we were going to get the conclusion to the traitor story. So a roadmap is not saying, here's what we're doing right now, we're going to finish that thing. A roadmap is the vision for the future. A roadmap is laying out what is your development strategy, what is your content strategy, where are you going to take us in the future, so that we can get on board with, riding into the sunset of 2018 into 2019, or at least tell us what the summer will bring. That's a roadmap. That kind of vision for the future excites people. So when Marvel said, here's our vision for the next 10 years of Marvel films, and we're going to have the Infinity War, and we're going to introduce the Inhumans and all of this, you get that vision for the future of where the Marvel universe, cinematic universe, is going to go, and you get on board with it. You sort of get hyped. I want that. I want to get hyped for what that vision of the future is. And just saying, here's a couple of sort of more chapters in the future, and there will be more chapters after that. That's a vision, but it's hard to get hyped for that, to say more of the same, So I want that roadmap that's going to have enough in there that's going to create a vision for the future that can get people hyped for staying on board for long periods of time.
Yes. And I can see that maybe their desire is to do things, month by month by month, but I think they're missing that excitement factor, because if they were saying, here's how crafting is going to work now, it's 6.0, and then have this new blah 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 blah, maybe we're going to have new augments, a new crafting, it has more excitement to it than, yeah, next month there's going to be another set of new mats, and then the month after that, maybe 3 months after that, is going to be another set of new mats, another new augments, and it's just not the same as having an X pack.
Right. And I think they still can, I think they can have their cake and eat it too if they say, we are going to still take smaller steps along the way, but every once in a while, then even within that, you need to have a bigger thing, and your roadmap needs to point out those bigger things. So you can say, we'll start a whole new story, and yes, that story will slowly develop over time, but we'll start a whole new story in the summer. You can look forward to starting a new story. Okay, that's
Right.
a bigger thing that will at least have a start. Then also, I think you still need to have a healthy game, and be interesting. You need to have new features from time to time, and they need to be new, bigger features, like when we got Galactic Starfighter. And it's not just another Starfighter map, it's what are you going to add to the game to keep it fresh and new and interesting? Are you going to add swoop racing or sabak, or like a mini game gambling system, and it's going to have sabak and pazak, and that would be a feature set, and you could sort of build a game system around it. And then if you're going to do, then that's the other thing you put in the roadmap. You can say, yeah, we're going to have continuing story. We're going to have flashpoints and PvP maps and operations. We're going to, and then the big milestones for the year that you can look forward to get hyped on are a new game system coming in the third quarter, a new story with a new bad guy coming in the summer quarter. Here's sort of the big rocks also. Get excited about that. And I get that that's hard to do, and I get that it's hard to commit to, and it takes a lot of work to get buy-off on that kind of vision from the parent companies and things like that. But that's part of the job of developing an MMO, and I know they know that, and they're probably just as frustrated that they can't do that more easily and make those commitments, more independently. I would expect that might be the case. I think that somebody's got to beat down take the initiative to make that happen in some way. I don't know. You got to know what you're doing this summer. You got to know what's coming next after 5.9.
Yeah.
They have to know already.
I mean, this summer is upon us. They can't be still deciding.
Right. Okay. So I think that is our wrap up on the 5859 announcements, and at least the first half here of what's up on Taris and our journey to corrupt Ashara. So EPC 231 here is ready to package up this podcast and broadcast it to all of you. Please keep up with us on Twitter at MaxTheGray and at AIESEMA. And if you know any cool people that should be listening to our podcast or subscribing to us on YouTube or coming and joining us in our guild AIE and playing with us on Mandatory Fun Nights, send them our way. Point them to us on Twitter. Tell them to subscribe to our podcast and listen every day. And tell them to come join our guild. Listen to all 231 episodes in the backlog. They need to get started now. That is a requirement for joining AIE, as you know. No, it's not. Please do not do that. Otherwise, definitely come find us on Starforge or our guild website, aie-guild.org, and ask us for an AIE guild invite. We would love to have you. And we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.